Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and everything in between. I'm your host Isac and I welcome all of you to the Biweekly Breakdown. Or maybe the not so Biweekly Breakdown, since this video is about 3 weeks late. But that's beside the point. This is the show where I every other week break down the 24 battles that's been played and compose a top 5 list out of them. And once again, these are 100% subjective. And week 3 and 4 had some fantastic battles, so a lot of them had to fall by the wayside. But with that being said, let's begin the breakdown. Kicking off this list is Fadakie vs Steven in the week 4 showdown. And if you don't remember Fadakie actually being a coach this season, then you're absolutely right. He's a temporary replacement for Kenneth. But even though this might make you think, he keep a low profile to not endanger Kenneth's record, then you'd be absolutely wrong. This guy has been bringing hyper offense since the week he took over, and this week he even brought a damn sword stance swiper, almost managing to pick up the one-hit KO on Steven's Mega Medicham with a sucker punch. And even though this didn't really accomplish more after that, the rest of the battle actually played out really well, swaying back and forth multiple times to finally end in a clutch 2-0 victory in Steven's favor. And another thing to add is Steven's Typhlosion came out huge this game, and also in quite a creative way if I do say so myself, by not bringing Flashfire and in the process actually negating a lot of Ditto's potential in shutting it down. So this intense battle combined with the creative sets brought by both parties earns this the first spot on this week's list. This next entry on the list was really hard to rank among the others, due to it being so simple yet so effective. Because in this week 3 match between Checkmate and Popplio, Checkmate manages to neutralize Charizard's biggest defensive check in 3 turns. How did he accomplish this? Well, by giving a middle finger to having 3 attacks plus Roost on Charizard Y, by running Flamethrower, Toxic, Fire Spin and Roost, trapping Chansey turn 3 with Fire Spin and slowly letting it die to Toxic, and in the process opening up the game completely, allowing Charizard to pick up 4 out of 6 kills this game, ending the battle in 3-0 in Checkmate's favor. Now Checkmate is without a doubt in my mind one of the top 3 best battlers in season 3 of OWL, so seeing him put on a great performance wasn't too much of a surprise, but I really couldn't keep myself from including this entry just because of the sheer elegance he dealt with Popplio's defensive checks. One of the hardest parts about compiling this week's list was the 3rd to 1st spot, since I really felt like all of the battles brought something unique to the table and they didn't really stick out too much among each other, but in the end I decided on this entry, and at the number 3 spot we once again find Fadakie, but this time it's his week 3 battle against Metro. Now the battle started off well. There were some really solid Volt Switch and Earthquake predictions from both sides, and with both sides having flying and ground types, a lot was at stake for both of these coaches in trying to grab the early momentum. Towards the mid-game, Metro played really well around his Tangrowth Slaking regenerated core, while Fadakie's beloved Ditto countered really well by transforming into Metro's incredibly aggressive Slaking every time he got the chance to ensure good chip damage. But the game really takes off at around turn 30, where both coaches start predicting like crazy, making the game close to impossible in determining who would win and come out as a victor. But in the end, man's best friend, being Zygarde 10%, picks up the final blow on Metro's Tangrowth, ending this game in a 1-0 victory in Fadakie's favor. We're approaching the top of the list now, and at the number 2 spot we find my favorite type of game, a reverse sweep. Or at least a semi-reverse sweep, because Captain Sebasaur of the Garbage Strangers did it once again through duo setup in his week 3 game against Haz of Team Skull. Now, Haz is a really solid player, and from the start it looked like this was gonna be his game without a doubt. He neutralized Azelf, Bisharp and Weavile by turn 7 without losing a single mon, and it really looked like nothing could go wrong from here. But it's at the 16th turn that this game really starts going in favor of Sebasaur. You see, Hazard's Skarmory was in against Sebasaur's Chip Dragonite, and Has decides to go for the Stealth Rocks, while Sebasaur sets up a Dragon Dance. But Has came well prepared and packed Whirlwind on Skarmory, so one Dragon Dance really wasn't an issue. And it turned out it really wasn't. Like, the Fire Punch from Dragonite didn't even end up knocking the Skarmory out, and the Whirlwind drags out Sebasaur's only remaining Pokemon, Linoone. This is, however, where things really starts to go downhill for Has, because as it turns out, Sebasaur brought Roar on his Linoone, and when they both clicked Roar and Whirlwind respectively, Linoone is faster and just end up roaring out the Skarmory into Lantern, aka free belly drum fodder. One belly drum was all it took, because 4 turns later, Sebasaur ended up with a 2-0 victory against Has. And as you can tell, this game was nerve-wracking to watch live, and I can't even imagine how it was for the coaches actually playing this. I mean, the only real reason this entry wasn't on the top of the list was just due to all of the RNG that this sweep relied on. Like Linoone's Roar dragging out Lantern instead of an offensive mon like Gallade or Nidoqueen, where a belly drum wouldn't even have been possible. And of course, the Thunder Wave miss from Lantern was also probably vital as well. If that would have landed, there's a big chance this sweep wouldn't even have been possible in the first place. But despite this was a joy to watch, and both of these coaches really put on an amazing performance, making this entry very deserving of one of the top spots in this list. But before revealing the number 1 spot, I have to quickly mention the new segment implemented, and that's the best battle of week 3 and 4 voted by you guys through our Discord server. And the battle voted favorite was by 1 vote differencing, and it was the week 4 battle between Toastyrex of the Garbage Strangers and Rockyrolo of Drei Attack. Now, I won't go into too much detail and analysis of this game since I didn't pick it, and the reason I didn't do that is just because I really prefer the faster and more balls to the walls kind of games over the more calm and collected ones. But despite that, I can really appreciate the Calm Mind Dusknoir, and although it didn't accomplish much that game, it was a really bold set to bring. The other main thing I took from this game was the really clutch ending, where Toasty bringing Aquatail and Aerodactyl really gave him the victory in the 1v1 versus Dugtrio. And with that being said, I think it's time to reveal the top entry for this week. Now at the number 1 spot of the second edition of the Biweekly Breakdown, we find Blind Messiah of N.W.L bringing the heat in his week 3 battle against Drei Attack's very own Rockyrolo. Now, when you see a turn 4 Gothitelle set up against a damn Celesteela, I know a spicy game is about to play out. Now when Messiah realized this whole Gothitelle Carmine sweep wasn't gonna happen, does he pack up his shit and call it a day? Nah, he says screw that notion, hard switches into Kingdra and starts setting up once again. But this ain't no normie's Dragon Dance setup, this is a Racial Claw Focus Energy type of setup, and after 1 Focus Energy, this guy manages to break a damn Mega Venusaur with a Kingdra. The Kingdra later gets KO'd, and the momentum actually ends up swaying back towards Rockyrolo. Well, at least until the game MVP comes out, being Messiah's very own Munchlax. Like, the fact that this guy first picked Munchlax in the draft and actually brings it is fucking hilarious in my opinion. And what's even more funny is the fact that Rocky had no way of breaking this thing. Like, this thing 1v3 the fucking Gardevoir, Golisopod and Togedemaru. And it's a Munchlax! And I guess Rocky, like, I don't think I've ever seen someone as good as him when it comes to utilizing Trace Gardevoir. All of this combined just make this entry all the more deserving of the top spot and closing out this week's list. Now, that's the end of the list, and if you have any opinions about my entries or the episode in general, good or bad, please make sure to leave them in the comments below or even on Discord. Please also do make sure to vote on your favorite battle. It really meant a lot to see you guys voting last time, and if you do that again, that would mean a lot to me. But that's gonna be the end of the video, and I'd like to thank each and every one of you for watching, and I really hope I see you in the next episode. See you soon.